Stash him now. I got a list of guys you need to have rostered in your Campus to Canton leagues. Let's talk about it after the stinger. It's Felix Sharp at Sharp Review for CampusToCanton.com. I hope you liked the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I hope you love what we're doing, trying to expand and grow this college fantasy game. I really think that with the NCAA video game and players getting more visible with their brands due to their names being on that game, it's going to lead to a growth in college fantasy. And if you are tuning in for the first time, you're like, what are we doing here? We're playing in Campus to Canton fantasy leagues where you have a college team and an NFL fantasy team, and your college team serves as the pipeline to your NFL team. So you got to actually identify some of these guys so you can get them on your NFL team. Freshmen and supplemental drafts, I've been looking at my leagues, and a lot of these guys are not rostered, and so you need to have these guys rostered or pick them up if they are out there on your waivers if you haven't had your freshman and supplemental drafts just yet. And I'm excited about this one. Some guys we've talked about, some guys we haven't. Let's start here. How about number 1, Jacobe Lane, wide receiver at USC? No Dorian Singer, no Taj Washington, no Brennan Rice. 3 catches, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns in the bowl game against Louisville. You look at the spring game, and it feels like they led 2 lines of wide receivers: Zachariah Branch, Mekhi Lemon, Jaden Richardson, Deuce Robinson, Kyron Hudson. But Jacobe Lane, 6'4", 190, he's going to be right there. I would consider him, especially since he's essentially free. He's out there. All of these guys are. All of these guys are essentially free, so I would go ahead and pick him up. How about number 2, Rocco Becht? I mean, come on, man. You know I had to throw Rocco Becht in there. His last 4 games, 23 fantasy points, 24 fantasy points, 29 and 39 fantasy points in those last 4 games. 10 touchdowns to just 1 interception in those last 4. A redshirt freshman going into his redshirt sophomore year. Let me make no bones about it. I think that Rocco Becht is a potential NFL player. He's a potential NFL draft pick. So not only does he provide some value for you on the college side where you can get, his scoring. No, he's not a dual threat, whatever. But Iowa State's skill position players, very underrated. Very underrated with Jaden Higgins, the possession wide receiver who can go and make contested catches. Jalen Noel, who can take the top off of the defense. And then, of course, Benjamin Bramer, the tight end there in the middle. Rocco Becht has some guys to grow with there under Matt Campbell. You got to go get him rostered. Rocco Becht, Iowa State, go get him rostered. How about Kyren Lacy? Kyren Lacy, behind a couple of first-round NFL draft picks last season, wide receiver LSU, but with with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. I don't know why I blanked there for a second. Playing behind them, Kyren Lacy is a veteran, a 5th-year player. LSU's defense is not going to be good this year. And one thing we know about Garrett Nussmeier is he will throw it up to you. I don't think people remember that last offseason, folks thought that it could be Garrett Nussmeier that started over Jaden Daniels, who ended up winning the Heisman Trophy and going on to be a top 10 NFL draft pick to the Washington Redskins. Garrett Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier, potential Heisman Trophy dark horse. Kyren Lacy, I would put him there to be a Biletnikoff dark horse. Again, 5th-year player, bad defense. I think he's going to get a lot of volume for someone who's going to throw the ball up a lot in Garrett Nussmeier. I want his number 1 wide receiver. Give me some Kyren Lacy. What is that? Number 4, Abu Sama. I guess we're just talking about Iowa State today. Abu Sama really boosted by that 273-yard performance against Kansas State in the snow, stiff-arming fools here and there. Now, he's been volatile really in other performances last year in 2023 for Iowa State. But look at Matt Campbell's track record with running backs. You've got David Montgomery, Breece Hall. Like, they know how to pick them, and he's going into 2024 clearly as the starter on what should be a very good offense. Abu Sama is out there. Don't make it, don't make a stupid decision. Just go ahead and get him rostered. Tez Johnson, at Oregon, number 5 here. I don't know. I've lost count. 1,000-yard, over a 1,100-yard receiver in 2023. No Troy Franklin this year. And pound for pound, one of the best athletes in college football. He's been in Bruce Feldman's freak list each of the last 2 years, 3. Going back to his time at Troy, he was on the freak list because he's this little guy who's very powerful, very explosive. I like Tez Johnson. I think he can have a role at the next. Well, first of all, he's being taken in like one of the top 15 wide receivers in college fantasy in general. I also think that he has an NFL future, to a Tutu Atwell extent, but could be a punt returner, probably be a slot wide receiver. Go ahead and get Tez Johnson because he could lead you to a championship as your wide receiver 1 on the college side of your campus Canton leagues. How about DJ Giddens at Kansas State? I've comped him to Rachaad White, one of the best running backs in the country that nobody's really talking about. He can catch the ball. 6 foot 210, if I remember correctly. He has, he's probably just short of what we want an ideal BMI for a running back, but a guy who could explode again here in 2023. And another player who's free, who's out there in all the leagues, and is probably going to be an RB1, RB2 for you, again, on the college side of your fantasy leagues. You can expect between 15 and 20 points from him every single week, at least in my opinion. One of my favorite players here on this list, Bhayshul Tuten, the running back at Virginia Tech. Pound for pound, I think one of the tougher running backs in college football. 5'11", 200, but he plays like he's 220. And you're going to have Kyren Drones there pulling linebackers away from read option. I really like Bhayshul Tuten. Now, the way he runs, I think it could lead to injury. Dealt with injury last year. But, I mean, you look at also think about the history that Virginia Tech has at running back. Ryan Williams, Lee Suggs, one of my favorite players of all time, Kevin Jones, one of our draft picks there. I think he was taken the same year that Roy Williams was taken. I remember when they played that good Ravens defense with Ray Lewis, and Kevin Jones and Ray Lewis were just smash mouth hitting each other in the helmets there in Ford Field for the Lions. Bhayshul Tuten, super physical runner. I looked at his athletic profile at campusdecan.com. He has like a 90+% power rating. But when he's also one of the best kick returners in the country. And he has pull-away speed. Now, his speed might not show up on 100-meter dash time or what we have recorded in our athletic prospect database at the website. But I still think that this might be one of the more explosive running backs in the country. And again, I'm telling you that he plays bigger than the 5'11", 200 pounds that he's listed. Bhayshul Tuten. I know that you're going to go get Taylor Tatum and Quentin Martin and all that stuff at Penn State in their freshman drafts. I'm not telling you to draft Bhayshul Tuten in the first round of your freshman drafts. I'm just telling you that I am probably going to pass on those two, and I'll wait for Bhayshul Tuten and take my chance with him because I know he's going to be productive. He was over 1,000-yard rusher in 2022, and then dealt with injury last year, had over 800 yards rushing. Give me some Bhayshul Tuten. How about Dylan Samson, running back at Tennessee? Now, Dylan Samson is not going to be, a bell cow for Tennessee. They run much of a committee there, but people are drafting Cam Seldon in no business where they should be drafting him when Dylan Samson is the one who actually had the higher snap percentage in 2023. And now with Jalen Wright gone, you would expect him to step into a role where he's the majority, where he gets the majority or the larger share of the running back touches there. Can catch the ball in an offense that should be a little bit more opened up with Nico Iamaleava at the helm as opposed to Joe Milton. I think with Nico there, we could look at Tennessee to play more like they did in 2022 with Hendon Hooker at the helm, more high flying, because quite frankly, that's what Nico Iamaleava did as a high school player, is throw that ball deep. So I'm not going to say that Dylan Samson is an NFL player. He does have NFL speed, but I don't see NFL physicality, especially when you watch him back to back with Bhayshul Tuten. It ain't there, but he should be rostered. Not a player that I'm necessarily prioritizing, but everybody's out there going out of their minds drafting Cam Seldon, who's going to get a lesser share of the running back touches. Dylan Sampson's going to be the starter. I would go ahead and get him. Lastly, Elic Ayomanor. How much money did he make last year, redshirt freshman, taking Travis Hunter to the woodshed? 6'2", 210 pounds, super physical player. You've got to draft him. He's out there, physical after the catch. I don't know that he's much of a route runner, somebody you're going to use on drags, get contested catches deep. But I like Elic Ayomanor too. All of these players in their freshman drafts. Let me know who you think needs to be rostered in the comments below. And if you don't know what a Campus to Can League is, check the link in the description box. It'll tell you more. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.